Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be taking a look at a pretty sweet Super Nintendo ROM hack, Super Mario World Return to Dinosaur Land. So we're going to be checking this out in the Super NT with this cartridge. Pretty sweet stuff. It is from RetroCircuits.com. They do a lot of awesome repros and multi-carts and custom built stuff for you. You can peep their website out. They have Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo 64 games. If they don't have something you're looking for, you can just hit them up and ask. More than likely, they can make it for you. So definitely do recommend them highly. Their cartridges are made with the proper voltage. Everything's safe, not going to damage your systems or anything. So that's one of the reasons I really love going through them. Trying to replace all my old cheap Chinese repros. You never know what you get when you import stuff from AliExpress or Banggood and whatnot when it comes to repro carts. Definitely there's a possibility there's something wrong with them. And with these articles and stuff that's been put out, kind of publicized a few months ago, especially from DB Electronics, their article about the dangers of 3.3 voltage and repro carts, multi-carts, flash carts, stuff like that, kind of got me wondering and thinking and kind of looking at these Chinese repros that I had and just like, man, I don't know if I want to use these anymore. So I've been slowly kind of getting rid of them and replacing them with stuff from Retro Circuits. There's only one left that I need to do for Super Nintendo, and I keep forgetting to ask them, and that's King of Demons. This is a crappy repro. Doesn't even, when you open it up, it just looks like garbage. When you open these up, they look freaking sweet, and like there's a lot of care put into what was done with the boards with these. Or something like this, just trash, you know what I mean? But I'm not using that card anymore, but I need to get me a repro of that. Never released in the US, but it's a flipping sweet game. So that's what we're looking at today. Return to Dinosaur Land. I did get one other cart from Retro Circuits. That's Far East of Eden. I know this is a very popular one, English translated. And they do have a limited quantity of these available on their website. If you want to peep it out, I'm going to be doing a video on this pretty soon. It's just going to take me a moment, so I'd rather highlight this one first because this one's a role-playing game. It's a little time-consuming, so we're going to get a video up of this one pretty soon and kind of talk about it. But both of these are available on their site, plus tons of other things. So let's go ahead and pop this bad boy in, peep it out, kind of get my impression, see what it is. Never played this before, always heard about it. People have said it's, if not the best, one of the best, is the best Super Mario World ROM hack out there. So I want to find out. Comes highly recommended from a lot of people, and it's time. So let's do it. So here we go. Return to Dinosaur Land, Super Mario World. So we're here to visit Yoshi's friends. A bunch of people missing. We got to make this happen. I didn't know exactly what to expect. From what I read, this ROM hack is more so a level hack. You're not going to find a bunch of new graphics or anything like that. Just more so level designs and actually new themes for levels, like a water world and like some kind of ice world. And the game can get pretty difficult. Even in the ROM hacking description, it says the end levels get pretty tough. I haven't made it that far yet. I've played the game for a little over an hour. And right here, we're just kind of breezing through some highlights here and there of a handful of levels. I'll point some stuff out that I found intriguing when it comes up. But, man, Super Mario World, it really is one of my favorite games of all time. Just have very fond memories of playing it on release. Grew up with Mario. It was just a sweet time to be alive playing games. And when the Super Nintendo came out, I did not immediately get one. I didn't have money for one, all that kind of stuff. I got one shortly thereafter, but I do recall a good friend of mine at the time by the name of Jarrell. He got one, and I was just always over his house, man. And we were the night that it came out, we stayed up all night until we beat Super Mario World. We played it from beginning to end in one night, and we didn't know any of the secrets or anything like that. We just kind of played through almost every level. As you see here in this ROM hack, there's a lot of secrets, man. There's a lot of little things to keep an eye out for. But in the original Super Mario World, we didn't know anything. We just played the game, got to the end of the the final boss fight, finished it, and, being youngsters. The next day we went over to our local little ma and pa video game shop. I remember back in the day they would have like games up on a wall, and there would be like different colored stickers on each of the games. So there would be like red, yellow, and green. And if you brought in a game of that color, that matched that color, for example, like the category. So if you brought in a red category game, you could trade it for another red category game, and you like gave them like $5. And it was like an even trade. They're making a handful of bucks, but it, value-wise, popularity-wise, you were both getting something of equal value. And that was pretty cool. But I remember we went there and we're bragging about beating the game the first day it came out. And the shop owner, you kids are stupid. Quit talking crap. You guys didn't beat this game. It just came out yesterday. And then we told them like exactly what happened. Kind of giving a little briefing over everything, and it was kind of funny. Stupid story, but still fond memories of playing the original. And going back to this, it's very interesting. I do see the appeal, and after playing this for, like I said, a bit over an hour, I do want more. Yeah, there's nothing crazy going on. Like I said, there's no change of colors or sprite swaps or anything weird like that. It's just more of a challenge, and the level designs are pretty cool. The thing too that I noticed playing this game is there'll be some things where I'm playing and I'll be like, this is freaking stupid. Like, seriously, this is just stupid. Why did they do that? How, this doesn't make sense. And then once you figure it out, you're like, oh wow, that was freaking genius. So, I mean, that really sums up the experience for me with this game, is that I'll run across something and I'll be like, this is idiotic. This is dumb. This makes zero sense. You see here, you had to figure out, okay, you got to get this damn key. Now, where the hell do you get the key? Because once you beat the level, there's no progress, and there's quite a few levels like that. But it's very intriguing because it makes you think. And like I said, with certain things, you're like, this is not cool. This is messed up. And then you're like, oh wow, it's genius how some of the mechanics of figuring things out work in this ROM hack. It's very reminiscent of a full-on production game, and yeah, it is a full-on production game. It's based off of a pre-existing game, but there was a lot of effort and thought put into the level layout. The person who put this together obviously did not program the game. They pretty much just edited the levels, but I give them mad props for how this came out. And I don't know why, for this being out for 12 years, how I never played it before. I've always heard of it. It's always been like, top ROM hacks and stuff like that, and I just never bothered. I've gotten more and more intrigued lately by ROM hacks, so I think that might be part of why I'm being exposed to it now. But for a while, I just had this weird notion that ROM hacks were just crap, that kind of thing. Like, they weren't good. They were, most of them, there was no effort put into them. And sure, there's a bunch out there that are just like, okay, this isn't cool. But then you run across a lot of things like this where it's just quality. Like, there's a lot of thought put into it. This part right here, I still haven't figured out, like, how the hell do you get that key? How do you get into there? I haven't figured this part out yet, but one day I will. I'm not going to look it up. Don't throw a comment out there. I want to figure this part out. I've saved my game with these Retro Circuits carts. I do want to point out, if they save, if the game support saves, they make sure it saves. So these carts are always tested, and they ensure everything works in that regard. And this does, in fact, save your progress. And I want to point out this ghost house, because there's another ghost house, like, almost right after this, like, a couple of stages later, and they're called the Twin Ghost House. And at first I was like, what the heck is the point of that? That doesn't make sense. I'm like, that's too close to have two ghost house. And then when I played this one, I was like, this one's stupid. Like, it was too easy. And typically, you play the ghost house in Mario World, and you're like, you're intrigued because there's different ways to do things. And then like you see here, this level is like before the next ghost house. I beat the level and was like, okay, I don't know where to go. Like it won't let me progress. Then I finally figured out, okay, you really need to pay attention to what's going on in the game, what enemies there are, the layout, because all you needed to do was get the dude's little cloud, float under the end of the stage, and then come all the way over here and grab the darn key at the end, bring it back to the, this little keyhole, and then progress is made. Like little things like that, I'm like, this is cool, It wasn't hacky or hokey or anything. It just made you think for a second, like, how do I progress? Like, because in Super Mario World, it was typically to get these, if you had different routes through the level, they were just more so to get to secrets and stuff like that. This one forces you to figure some stuff out to progress in the game. And then as you see, now we're in the other twin ghost house, and you see here, this one's the same but with some differences. Right? First difference, like, what the hell, the floor is invisible. That wasn't the first time I walked on that floor. At first I was really hesitant. I was like, what the hell? So I'm playing through, I'm going through, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just have to go the other route and finish the level, right? And go through, finish it, and nothing. Like, no progress. Okay, the blocks are invisible. So that was kind of cool that it went down that way. You kind of had to remember the layout of the first twin ghost house. And then here, before we go, just a montage of some stupid deaths. My faults, just being impatient with the game. But I do highly recommend this game. It is flipping amazing. I love it. Definitely check out retrocircuits.com. Link will be in the description. Peep it out. Appreciate it, guys. Smash it, like it, subscribe, and boom!